can't really be mad at people for trying to exploit a system that's exploiting them. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it from one angle.
I look, we have talked about Sexy Red. I want her to succeed in her own way. I want her to save her money.
Please.
Because when this wave is over with, and because that's the way hip hop is, and especially hip hop is run on capitalism.
True.
Once you have been burned out, they will toss you to the side like yesterday's trash.
Facts. All right, let's talk Lone's favorite person, Ebro.
Is he my favorite person?
Because you never say his name right.
I don't even hate Ebro. I actually agree with him most of the time, actually.
He actually, well, let's see what he says on this one. So there's an article floating around from Complex with a tweet that a part of an interview where he says, I got a call saying that it should be noted many major record labels have deprioritized signing rappers. The focus is now African music and Latin music.
Oh, Afrobeat, right?
Yeah, so rappers better stop being boring and talking about the same ish over and over, chasing TikTok success and comment sections.
It kind of goes with the whole performance
that?
piece we just talked about.
It exactly goes with that. But especially you two, are you starting to see this trend, like from a DJ, MC, host? You got your own spot standpoint, or is everything still in the pocket from what you know? Even just friends like DJs that you know. Has anybody mentioned anything like this in terms of a trend?
Not necessarily mentioned, but I mean, we've noticed that Afrobeats have been more accepting and more popular for probably the past 4 years. I would say.
It's been a minute.
Got you.
At least 4 years.
So it sounds like it might be coming to a boiling point based off.
Look, everybody's going, instead of looking for the next little baby, they're looking for the next Burna Boy, because they see those international numbers, and they're like, oh, this, with the Bad Bunnies too, like, this dude does so much ridiculous business. Even if you are like a knockoff Bad Bunny, you probably gonna do some real numbers.
Probably so.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the record industry. You always chase trends.
Exactly.
Always chase trends. And whatever's pop, like the people who sit in the offices have no creativity. So they just try to, if something is hot, let's do that again.
And then not to mention,
until we burn it out.
These rappers, they're not the only one, but a lot of rappers have figured out to use the TikToks and the Instagrams and all that stuff to their benefit by getting popular on there. And then they don't need a record label. Whereas these international artists, they need distribution. You know what I'm saying? So it makes more sense for them to try to go after them because they're trending upward and they need the distribution. And they need more eyes and ears on them. So it makes more sense for them to sign a record deal versus a lot of the people that are getting famous off TikTok, Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I mean, because if you out here, just young liquor store robber, like if you can just create a little viral moment. Yeah. If you have you might be able to find somebody be like, okay, we can do this, and this. Now it may not get out of your region, but you'll mess around and be famous in your region. And that's all a lot of these kids want.
That's it.
But if you
chasing the bag,
like I said, if you're trying to be like that Afrobeats artist, because there's gonna be somebody who's not from Africa, like I'm gonna get on this I'm gonna make my mark. In the Afrobeats marketplace, that person is going to be more susceptible to wanting to be, like you said, in the major label system. And so they need these kind of artists for sustainability. Yep. Okay, because you just cannot nobody gets excited about having a bunch of independent artists making all this noise. We need to not only deprioritize hip hop that can be done on a regional level and can actually create artists that are creating wealth for themselves outside of the major label system. We need, that's why I thought, at one point they were going to start looking into groups and things like that, because it's like you can't maintain a group on an independent level. Right. Groups need to be in a major label system for, tour support, for actually, somebody hire a choreographer, somebody to get in there and do that vocal.
The whole production
aspect, as opposed to, like you said, the kids that can just get out there with a microphone and play the glass break sound so they don't have to go rhyme a whole song. Yeah. But if you're an Afrobeats artist, and Sony UK needs to have a part in this. Okay, Sony Asia needs to have a part of,
Hell, Burna Boy's single out now has Selena Gomez on it.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his track list.
And then you had
J. Cole, 21 Savage. I didn't even realize that, but I just Googled it when you said that.
Yeah. Then you had the Tim song, which featured Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even Tim's song. That was, she was actually featured on there. Man. But it was an Afrobeat artist.
Yeah. But you know what I really love about Afrobeats right now? This is what I appreciate more than anything. It gives a break to DJs when they get tired of playing the gunshots and the ass shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's you know, when you're tired of hearing about girls singing about their buttholes, you can put on you know you can put on the Afro beats and people will vibe to it.
Let's vibe.
And it really does change. Another kind of energy can come into the club, and I appreciate that more than anything.
Have you seen that work?
Yeah, it works all the time.
It works all the time because like there's some times where I'm like, all right, we got to change the vibration in here, and you know, luckily I have enough respect with the DJs I work with, and I say, okay, let's take it out of the trap right now, and let's go ahead and give them either some island flavor or something from Africa. And it makes things much more pleasant.
Everybody, the frequency. Even, you know what I'm saying?
Like I said, we've talked about how there's a lot of low vibrational
music that it livens the party up. It makes you more, you know what I'm saying, inviting. You know what I'm saying? You don't have your guard up as much when you listen to other things. But no, I think it's a vibe in itself, and it absolutely makes more sense that these record labels are going after them because, I mean, that's probably going to be their bread and butter from now until whenever, as far as signing an artist.
Jump in, Long.
It doesn't even have to be strictly Afrobeats, though, either. I mean, when we talk about reggaeton is really huge as well.
True.
Well, that's what the Latin flavor, too.
That's what I mean. That's really big. Which,
Bad Bunny, I think, is the biggest artist right now.
As far as like ticket sales, yes. Nobody but Beyonce, Taylor Swift, all that. It's Bad Bunny.
But at the same time, like I would not really make the argument that the reggaeton music in general is that much better content-wise than a lot of this hip-hop that's coming out right now.
Noriega did a reggaeton album.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
You saying from a content standpoint, it's not that much better?
Yeah, I mean, my wife is a Latin person, you know?
Right.
She can't stand it. You know, in the same way that a lot of people would say, you know, I don't like rap music. She's just like, I can't stand reggaeton.
But see, I don't really mess with reggaeton, but I love Afrobeat.
Yeah.
So
because when I go, I you know, there a Latin night that I go to every once in a while. Shout out to my man DJ Rican, and there are parts where I'm like, oh, this is it, but there are parts where like, no, I don't know this. You know, but also, you know, I realize they can't play Suavemente once an hour just because I'm there.
It works every time.
I'll tell you what, you put that Suavemente on, it works. It's gonna be a party.
Yeah.
If we're talking specifically about, like, I'm been staring at Ebro's tweet here. And he said, rappers better stop being boring and talking about the same things over and over, chasing TikTok success in comment sections. It seems kind of what he's kind of alluding to essentially is that, you know, I think it's just the lack of effort that we're seeing in general. This kind of goes back to our other two previous conversations a little bit. I didn't chime too much in on the last one, but the one thing that is very noticeable is just the lack of respect for the performance aspect that a lot of younger artists have that are popular. That the OGs, in a sense, don't lack that respect because that's part of the culture in that aspect. But you see that, I don't know how else to put it. Maybe lack of respect is the wrong way to put it, but it seems just like they don't respect the fact that it is something that's important that they need to do, I guess.
That's lackadaisical. It's almost like that's not important. They see if I put out a song and my song makes it, then I get to tour and I really don't have to worry about putting together a show. Like we were talking about, it's more so just I'm going to perform my song and that's it.
Exactly. And so to my, I guess the point that kind of piggybacking off that I'm kind of getting to is just the general lack of respect for the culture around making music that is good as opposed to something that hits, something that's popular, something that works for the comment section, something that works because of people's attention spans. That we have an entire generation of artists that I don't want to be the old person in the room and say that these people aren't artists.
Right.
But they're eliminating being an entertainer.
Well,
I'd give them entertainer before I give them artist.
I would too, because I don't think a lot of these people really take the craft that they're doing very seriously. When you're emulating something else, when you're just trying to emulate something, I can't really, I don't know that whole, don't get me wrong, it's all subjective, but like emulation is something, in my opinion, as somebody that teaches this stuff, is good for learning. But after that, you're not really an artist after you're out of that stage. If you're just emulating a whole bunch of other stuff.
Find your lane.
And this isn't something that's new. I'm just saying that like, it's just a lot of things are compounding on top of each other when it comes to a lot of newer artists in hip hop, to where it's very low effort, it's very low vibrations, and the very sheer foundation of it all seems to be more so based upon what is going to work to be popular, as opposed to this is good work that I can use that will then build up the next good thing, and people are going to enjoy me for what I'm bringing to the table, as opposed to just because I'm cool
in years to come versus just for now.
Yeah,
it's with what you talk about, the we'll just call it mimicking, right? Like, see, it's going to work. I see everybody else doing it, so I'm just going to do that. I think that is the mindset now in this era. It's not about let's sit down and try to make the dopest possible record that we can. It's let's sit down to make something that will work here, here, and here, so that we can get paid. Like, it cuts out all of the part. You alluded to talent earlier. It's never been, we were talking about not being a part, talent not being involved or something in a conversation previous, but it's not. It's what can work. And like he said, what he listed, can we get something to pop off here, here, and here, and maybe get a dance to it, and everything else will take care of itself. You know, and I feel like that's the approach now because of social media and all the avenues people can put music out on. It's like, let's spread it out as much as possible. Whatever works is going to work. We'll get to the tour, like you talked about, get to go perform. We're going to get the bag.
no,
and that's it.
not perform.
Oh, I'm not
Dance on stage.
Dance on stage
and do whatever.
and get to the bag.
I don't want to call these people performers, man, like anymore. Like, we need to bring back shame, and we need to stop calling them performers.
I'll tell you, booing people off of stage is going to come back.
Look, man, if you can't get on stage,
I got to bring it back by myself.
Nah, man, like, it's not hard to have a DJ, have an instrumental, and to say and practice your words. And if you can't say all of your stuff, not the names,
Get a hype man.
Get somebody else. And if you can't get somebody that can do that stuff with you, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. I don't know. It's
not that hard.
It's not hard. I think that's the thing. It's just like it doesn't seem like it. And I think the thing that kind of bothers me about it is not even the fact that it is hard. It's just that it would make you so much better.
That part.
Like, why would you ignore this and just a functional part of like being better than somebody else?
It's almost like you want to be too cool, so you want to come into a show and do the exact same thing that the artist before you did.
Right.
Why not stand out?
That's my argument. Why not? Like, if you're going to do this as a profession and you know that the best that do this.
I think a lot of these younger,
but that goes back to they don't care. So
that's it.
You know, it's again back to my original point.
And I think they're wired that way too because of how some of the records are created. They didn't come up performing. I was sitting in my room and I recorded and something rang off and my life has changed. Like, they didn't come up.
Well, even if they didn't come up performing, because that's almost like
that's what
somebody that's naturally good at basketball who didn't play it in high school at all and went to college and then made it to the NBA. They're naturally good at it. These people, some of them may not have been performing their whole life, but if they really want it that bad and they want to stand out, then put in the work and do it. You know what I'm saying? Stand out.
Look, I'm just saying, young artists, do not watch Rolling Loud and think that's going to work for you. I mean, it's going to work for you, but don't aspire to that.
Nah.
When I see these rappers that they barely know every maybe 10th word of their songs.
Right. You have a ceiling if you do that.
Yeah.
And it's
you know how many artists are on those festivals though?
Yeah,
right.
but none of them are good performers.
Nah.
I sat and watched that Rolling Loud. I was like, oh, this person's trash. Yeah. This person's trash. As a performer, not as people. Maybe they sell records, but I'm just saying I go off the performance aspect of hip hop. And when I see you up there, you don't even care enough to hold the microphone to your face and fake it.
Nah, these Afrobeats artists are going to come through and perform.
Yep.
Yes.
And make you have fun.
For now.
Yeah.
Because you know what? As they commodify Afrobeats, there are going to be some people who start sneaking in the Afrobeats door.
That's true.
And it'll be like, well, you know, I just knew this was the vibe and I can't really sing. It's going to be some white Afrobeats artists.
I believe it.
It's going to be somebody coming from Denmark or something and wind up being the biggest Afrobeats artist in the world.
See,
I'm calling it now.
Snow.
It's not far-fetched though, bro. And today in this era, it's really not.
Yeah,
that I can see that ringing off.
Once they were like, okay, this is going to be the sound, and this is what we're going to move forward with. This is what we're going to. Then they're going to people who are going to change everything they have ever wanted to do. And it's like, I'm going to fit into this box, and I'm going to get this money one way or another.
Look. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, look at one of the comments that was used in this piece on Complex is from 𝐀𝐿𝐺𝐺𝐷𝐾. He says, I feel like since COVID. He said, I just feel like since COVID, I feel like they have put us inside, and I feel like we never came out. Even though we're out, we're not out. The energy hasn't been the same. He's speaking about hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was even before that.
Before.
Yeah. Right. That. You gotta say prior to.
It was absolutely before.
There are people who need to be booed off the stage before 2020.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that it just further goes, and it's not just about the stage. It's multiple things in my opinion. But the stage just happens to be our theme today, I think. But in general, the rappers, there's going to be a switch happen, and a lot of people are going to be left behind. Is what's going to happen. And if you're not talented in what you do, this happens in every field. If you don't keep up with the standards, if you will, to some degree, you don't have any real skills. You know, like
what's her name?
Sexy Red and 𝐀𝐄𝐎𝐃. Yeah, neither of them are talented. They're not talented. They might be decent entertainers at this point. Right. They might know how to drive clicks, but neither of them are talented.
I'm never going to be like, oh man, I can't wait to hear that 𝐀𝐄𝐎𝐃, whatever her name is, freestyle.
Suki.
Yeah. She's like her whole thing is to be nasty in public places.
Yeah.
But when I say there's no talent, I mean there's no significant talent beyond what anybody else can do. Like I know a bazillion people that can get on stage and do exactly what she's doing, walk into a random recording booth and do exactly what there's no distinctive talent there.
And that goes into what he's saying too, because if you think about back in the day, I literally just listened to an interview with Jermaine Dupri talking about artist development. He was saying, I wouldn't put an artist out until we found something that made them stand out for somebody else. Right. He was 16 years old thinking about this type stuff. He would say, let me go to the mall and see what people pay attention to. So that's kind of where the crisscross wearing their pants backwards and all that stuff. The talent factor was already there, but they didn't have something that was going to make them stand out from everybody else. So nobody's going through artist development anymore.
There's none.
There's just TikTok is artist development.
And people can skip the artist development and get props for their personalities and the things that they are saying that has nothing to do with thing that they're doing.
Yeah.
Well said.
And the thing is, like I said, when you said there's things that we should be, at one point you said bringing shame and booing people off the stage. There's just things that I hear now in the culture to where somebody would tell an artist, do not say this in an interview.
Yeah.
And, at this point, I'm not even going to bring up the artist.
There's no coaching.
I'm just tired of, because it seems like I'm just hard, but like it's like I keep thinking, okay, the bar can't get any lower. Then I'll be like, oh, I guess I was wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was. We were over the weekend. I heard that new Sexy Red and 𝐀𝐄𝐎𝐃 joint. I was like, it's like hilarious.
I just feel like we're doomed.
It'd be one thing if I thought they were really just doing it. And maybe they, in their minds, are really doing comedy, and we just haven't picked up.
They serious. I don't think this is comedy.
People take what they say and this music very seriously.
It's a very fine line between parody anymore.
Now I don't even think you can't parody this.
That's what I mean. Like,
you can't. It's
parody, but it's real.
You can't go any further.
Exactly. You can't go any further.
You can't go any further.
Because if you made a parody of it, it'd mess around and be a hit song.
Yeah. Lone played it for me. I think I said, is this a parody? I think I said that out loud.
You said that.
Like, are they trying to be funny?
Yeah,
you'd have to go the opposite way. You'd have to make it serious in order to make that a parody.
I think once we've reached this point, I know it's, again, new old heads, I guess, but it's like, I don't know how much farther you can go in this lane as far as it's just like the disrespect of the craft.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think anything you're saying, what you're saying is just coming from the heart, and the way you're saying it, I can tell that this is your honest opinion. But in terms of being
like every other opinion,
yeah, all the time, we keep it a buck. But the low bar, I don't know if there's another level left, like we're talking about. I don't think there's another level left.
That's the thing. That's
you know what I mean. I don't think you can go too much past.
No, that's what I mean. Like, I felt this way in the past, but I don't know. Now it just feels different.
It's really here though. Now it's based off that. Even though you've thought about that in the past, this is one of those records where it's a flashpoint where it's like, okay, it might be here. It might be the bottom. This might be the bottom.
Like okay, we really can't go any. It could only get worse if, like, all of a sudden now some girl's like, I got to take this to the next level.
Yeah,
I'm going to rhyme about
taking a dump.
I'm going to
smoking crack.
I'm going to rhyme about raw dog and knowing I got HIV.
Yeah, like, it's going to take something like that.
That's I mean, that's really close to this.
It is close.
It's definitely adjacent. It's adjacent.
It's adjacent.
Adjacent.
I don't know, man. It's capitalism, man.
Yeah, man, it's capitalism.
There it is.
We had to bring it right on back.
Capitalism.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's capitalism,
It really
Mo.
is.
It's scary.
Least amount of effort.
Man, we are
We
doomed.
get into the bag.
Oh, man.
We are doomed.
And hey, if they're making money off of it, I mean, good for them as individuals,
They
but I
definitely
still
get paid.
don't like it.
Man,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my daughter listening to the nursery rhymes and Sesame Street music.
Y'all
for the
gonna be
rest of her
listening
life.
to y'all gonna be listening to Baby Shark till she's 13, 14 years old.
She can't listen to nothing.
Oh man. I don't know, man.
Your daughter gonna be up on all the adult contemporary songs.
Listen,
Who
I'm
said?
gonna be playing Kenny Lattimore for her.
That's way better than what I heard Saturday.
Come on, man.
What was it?
If your daughter's favorite song gonna be for you.
Yeah, straight up.
What you saying, Lone?
I was gonna say, who said that'll win a Grammy on mute?
Fonte.
It was Fonte, right?
Yeah, it was Fonte. Yeah.
Man, if that was relevant
He should have
15
won a
years
Grammy
ago,
on me. Yep. I don't know, man. I don't have the answers. This is not my.
We need to holler at Sway.
please.
He don't have the answers.
I think Sway might.
Sway might have the answers.
I think Sway. I mean,
Sway might be able to break this down.
low-key, Sway had the answers then when he was talking to
Why you
Kanye.
tripping? Yeah, he did.
I mean,
I don't know, fellas.
actually, since we're bringing it back, Ebro has the answers.
Ebro.
Yeah.
Rappers better stop being boring and talking about the same stuff over and over,
Come on,
chasing
man.
TikTok success and comment sections, or else you will be left behind.
Listen,
It's going
And
to
I
happen.
always tend to ask.
It's not him being old.
It's not. It's not at all.
All y'all look the same.
Sometimes I tend to ask, if we're talking about younger artists, you'll usually hear me say, "Do you think this is going to impact them? Do you think they're going to listen?" I say that
We've
sometimes,
already
but
said that on the show.
what I'm saying is
one.
this one is just the epitome of they're not going to listen. This is a big one. Nobody's going to listen to this.
So the people that are listening to this aren't getting picked up and aren't getting the recognition because they don't follow the trend. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately for them,
It's a
they
lose.
fall into they need the record label machine to help push them, but they also need the right A&R that is going to look at them.
Yeah.
And if they still have A&Rs that don't know how to find new talent or are still basing it off old criteria, they're still not going to find them.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's messed up.
It's one of these things that even though Ebro is saying all this, and I absolutely agree with him, on the flip side of this, I still don't think that his rappers better stop being boring and talking about all this stuff. That's not the end all be all. That's not the end of it, because at the end of the day, even if you do the stuff that he's saying, you're still not going to succeed.
Exactly.
So, and then it gets down to a societal conversation, which we've had many times. And it's whatever people are, we've been harping on these artists, and especially I have as well. But at the end of the day, these people are looking at this as a way to come up in a system.
Yes.
And I can't really be mad at people for trying to exploit a system that's exploiting them. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it from one angle.
Look, we have talked about Sexy Red. I want her to succeed in her own way. I want her to save her money.
Please.
Because when this wave is over with, because that's the way hip hop is, and especially hip hop is run on capitalism.
True.
Once you have been burned out, they will toss you to the side like yesterday's trash.
Facts.
Yep.
And I don't want you to look up and be like, I spent all my money on weave and Hellcats, and then all of a sudden you looking up and be like, well, now I got to go to get a job.
Listen,
because you have a chance to change
your
at least your immediate family. You can impact your immediate family, and maybe after that, if you smart, if you flip it right.
So if this is her time and this is her moment, whatever, you exploit the system that is here to exploit you, but save your money.
Save it. No, I was going to say, think about even a little bit ahead of her, and this is a different example, but kind of the same. Is anybody talking about the Island Boys right now?
Nope.
You know what I mean?
they kind of are.
Are they?
For the wrong
reason.
But that's what I was going to lead to. But why are we talking about them? It's not about them being super ridiculous. It's about them being extremely ridiculous.
Yes.
Good point.
You know what I mean? It's like you can only go so far up this extremely ridiculous rabbit hole until you turn into, Johnny Knoxville or something. You know what I mean? So
I don't even think he's as ridiculous as some of this stuff that's going on, because obviously these people have a price.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
They have a price
100%.
and they will literally do anything for money.
For that price.
Yeah.
Facts.
Okay, well then I'll take it somewhere completely else.
Okay.
When 𝐀𝐿ionaire came out, Riding Dirty, huge hit, made a whole bunch of money, made him a superstar.
Yep.
Next album he put out, I can't remember what it was actually a good record, but he decided, you know what, I'm not going to curse on this entire album. And then, you know, the powers that be is like, we really don't have much use for a rapper who doesn't curse.
Yeah.
But you know what? He looked to be get out of his deal, and like how he got out is a crazy story because he said he audited Universal and found about $600,000 that they didn't pay him.
Smart brother.
And they said, okay, well, you know, we still not letting you out. He's like, you know what? If you don't let me out of this deal, I'm going to tell every artist in this building that they need to have their deals audited too. And they're like, well, we let him go.
Yeah.
But you know what? Why
he jumped into that tech game?
Yeah, exactly. That's why when you see Chameleonaire, like, how is he sitting courtside at a Warriors game and he hasn't had a hit song in 15 years? Is because when he was here and before the industry took everything from him and threw him out the door like yesterday's trash, like they do with everybody.
He had his receipts.
He had his receipts, and he went ahead and said, I'm going to put my money somewhere else so I don't have to rely on the broken capitalist system of the record companies out here. Because a lot of you, you know, look, right now, it just seems like you all are, there's a lot of people, and I've said this so many times, a lot of you are looking and excited about trading your dignity for attention.
Can't wait.
That's the era, that's the epitome of the era that we
can't wait.
And so the thing is, if you put your money up, if you take this short run that they're going to give you so they can exploit you, so they can burn you out and put you out the door, take that money and do something productive with it, and you don't even have to worry about this no more.
Nope.